vacation. I don't wanna go to Mexico no more. But they got a big stuff for missing at the door. He ran.
One of the main things I missed out on my childhood more than anything is being a child. I didn't have a chance to be a child. You know, I didn't have a chance to do the Barbie doll thing, the slumber parties, the pajama parties, or birthday parties. Would I turn my life back around so I could get to childhood? Yeah. Because I want to know what it felt like. You know, right today, I really don't understand how I ended up in human trafficking and prostitution, because as I can remember, I was standing in a group picture at my school at 10 years old, taking a group picture like a normal person. Don't even really remember how I even ended up in school in that day. That's the only time that I really recollect that I was in school. And then at 12 years old, all of a sudden, I'm in sex trafficking. I don't even know how that happened. How did I jump from there to that lifestyle? I really, truly had a terrible, terrible life, to be honest with you. I was born with 2 alcoholic parents. I was born into a family of poor, lack of education, lack of food, funds, love, healing, anything you want to name. To me, I had no guidance. At age 5 years old, I was being molested by minions. So I don't feel like I had any protection, not only guidance. I had 2 sisters behind me, and even a couple of them was touched. And when I found out that they was being touched by men also, I immediately started to ask and cry for them to leave my sisters alone, and they started coming toward me. By my both parents being alcoholics, they had no idea what was happening to neither one of us, especially me. And it just went on and on. And as I grew older, like I said, my parents were alcoholic. At 8 years old, I started stealing my father's whiskey and beer, and started drinking it because I know these dirty old men was coming back in my room. And if I see how they was numb and drunk and falling all over the place, then maybe I would be the same way, and I wouldn't know these men are coming. That was ghosts to me. And I would drink, and when I drank, I would not only not get sick, but I wouldn't feel anything. And I never understood how I didn't get sick at the age of 8, drinking liquor and beer like that, just to kill the pain of the men coming and touching and funneling on me. How did I get there between that 10 and 12 years old mark? I know I was walking to a store. I know I was going to get bread, chips, or candy. And this car just pulled up out of nowhere. This black car just pulled up. And when they pulled up, they had items in there, like necklace, tennis shoes, dresses, ribbons, scarves. And they give it to you. And so you being not just 12, just being a little girl, you are being in a neighborhood, in a community, in a family setting like I come from. That is like, oh, wow, you got a brand new scarf, brand new skirt or dress or something, so you're going to take it because you think these are good people that's coming around doing something good for your neighborhood. So I took one of those items. And when I took that item put a price tag on me. And I had no idea what me accepting that item meant. So when they come back around, like 2 weeks later, to the same neighborhood and spotted me again, they came back up to me. And when they came back up to me this time, they took me in the car with them. And once they put me in the car, they automatically let me know by me taking that item, they done gave me something, I owe them something back. That's why it's so hard for us to receive something without knowing that you want something back from us. And once they took me in the car and told me that, they just pulled off, and they immediately took me to a house. And I was no more than 3 or 4 blocks from where I lived at in the projects. And once they drove off and got me to this house, the house they had was already 3 to 4 women downstairs, already handcuffed, already bleeding, already drugged up. So they immediately tied me to the bed, shot me up with a liquid cocaine, heroin, and started gang raping me. So once they did that, and you 12, you stand there, you traumatized, and you're screaming, and you already see girls already handcuffed to a pole or something, you already know what have happened here. What is this? And not only if you don't believe nobody's coming to get you, having nobody come and get them. People are riding your neighborhood and around your children's school, and they are lurking for you. They are looking for something like this. They will come and say that they're your boyfriend, and you're so beautiful. Let me take you to the movies. Let's go to the dinner. Oh, this necklace look good on you. And you just want to feel pretty, and you're just accepting that. You have no idea that this is a trap. You have no idea that their mind is just so messed up and so perverted that at the end of the day, you're going to pay for that necklace, you're going to pay for that pretty dress, and you're going to pay for it dearly with your life.
Well, coming out of prostitution myself, I always knew that I just wanted to go back because there were women. I knew that there were women still on the streets that believed the lie that there was no way out. And coming out and being given an opportunity to reclaim my own life, I wanted to go and share, that I found the way out, and this is the way, and we are worthy. God does have a plan for us, and hey, whenever you're ready, it's like once you go, if you go back to the streets, and that's why I call, doing outreach is so important. Once you go back to the streets and the girls see you or the guys see you, or they're wondering how did you do that? And so the thing is just to, when you get ready, when you decide, I don't want to turn one more trick, I don't want to take one more piece of dope, I'm done with this, but I'm afraid of the pimp, or I'm afraid that I don't have anywhere to go. So instead of coming out, I'm going to stay because there's nothing else. So I wanted to go back and let them know there is something else on the other side. And the something else is you, choosing your life, because you get to live a regular life, today. You don't have to stay in the madness or the darkness. You don't have to die out here.
Somebody get you and introduce you to something at 10 years old, 12 years old, and all that. By the time you age out in your late 20s or your early 30s, what do you have left? You don't even have a guidance. You don't know where to go. So all I knew was prostitution, drugs, and survival in the streets.
And I would beg her, I'd be like, if you make it out of here, you better come back and get me, because this is not what God has for us. And if I make it out, I'm going to come back. You don't have to be degraded. You don't have to degrade yourself. You don't have to allow somebody else to degrade you, but we're willing to stand with you. That's the gift that I was given, and I wanted to give it back. I believe for them. I've shared many, many times of just sitting in places like little girls and women are sitting right today, thinking that there was no way out, but believing that somehow, some way, I was going to get out. Whether I was trapped in the basement and no windows, the locked doors, can't get on the other side, my mind trying to figure out how is this going to happen, but just believing somehow it would, and it did.
I would love people to understand this about human trafficking. This is something that's been going on for decades. This is not nothing we started. And people all over the world has had this in their backyard, in their community all along, but they chose to overlook it.
So many people are going to be devastated by, you know, the many numbers. We're going to continue to find people or women or little girls 11 years later or months later or, like I said, years later that's being held captive to do all kind of certain, you know, things and acts if we don't pay attention to what's happening and people speaking out. On the other hand, in 5 years, if we are creating more programs like Magdalene House and like Eden House, like Magdalene St. Louis, you know, the different communities that's taking root in this thing, I see a lot of women and little girls, children, being freed from the thought and the stigma of this is the way it is and nobody's going to help me. I have no hope of anything else, you know. But if we get together and form these communities, we can get the resources to help start with the little girl that's 5 years old and have her innocence taken, and before she gets to the 50 or 60-year-old woman that feels like there's no way out. And then we can reach that 60-year-old woman that feels like there's no way out and have her reclaim her innocence, you know, at 5 years old or wherever it started, to know that she's got a purpose and a plan for her life. Even at 60, you still have that purpose and that plan, you know, for your life. And you can go and reclaim it and also go back to get that little girl and bring her forth. I'm talking about my little girl. There's a little girl in here, you know, so I have to go back and get her and let her know that I found a way out and I found people that I can trust and nobody's wanting, I don't have to trade my body or anything for what they're trying to offer me, you know, to building the trust back up.
And I'm speaking for those girls. And that just done it for me. Once I said my shame game is over, I have no more room to hold my head down and be shamed of what done happened to me. I'm speaking up for them girls. There's no way a decade later that this thing is still just as much as intense as it was when I was 12 years old. So that showed me right there that a lot of people are still turning their head. It's not in my backyard, it's not in my family, but it really is. I tell people all the time, the reason we just call the hood is because the neighbor has been taken out. So I can't say neighborhood no more because the neighborhood do not look out for each other like they used to. So we need to get back being the neighborhood.
And I know for sure that it doesn't have to continue to be that way. And I'm asking to join me, understand that I'm about a purpose, I'm about a solution. I don't want to keep perpetuating the problem, you know, the cycle. And I'm asking you to understand that we, together, we can do something about it. That's what I want people to understand.
Only thing I'm asking people to really know and understand about sex trafficking is that you need to get involved.